How's it going, everybody? I know this is a hotly wanted video because my DMs have been getting blown up. That's right, we're going to do Cosmic Crucible room suggestions for the Crucible season starting today. That's right, there is no week in between seasons this time. And I have joined with me an all-star cast of CC studs. I have Taco Shooter, Jgiusti, and Dead. Taco Shooter, why don't you say what up and tell us what your rank was last season?
Howdy, everybody. I'm the best, except when I'm not. So I finished the season, unfortunately, just shy of hitting that 69 mark. I think I was like 65, 64, something like that.
Oh, you had to get one extra loss. Jgiusti, where are you hailing from?
So I was 1 point short of Masters 2, so I think I was in the 200s. I didn't get sus till the last week, sadly.
Yeah, and Mr. Daedalus, how
rough week, couple weeks.
How are you, and where were you at last season?
Hey, is that like 23-ish?
Nice. And I was actually the highest ranked player in this conversation at 17 on one account, and I was the lowest ranked player on the other account in the mid 250 range. Just like Jgiusti, I didn't get Skrull until the very tail end, and by then I just didn't care anymore. So we're gonna have a lot of different opinions, but a lot of top heavy end opinions. So let's get into that right now. All right, let's start with stage one, which is inarguably the most interesting stage. I think we would all agree. So on defense and offense, striker characters are on turn, or on ally turn, they're getting assists now. So that means every single striker character on the node will assist whenever one of your allies attacks. So obviously, I think we're all the same mindset. We're going to have a super fast character in there, and then a lot of hard-hitting strikers. Taco, why don't you tell me about what you're thinking about for stage one?
Yeah, so there's a lot of teams that utilize like a assist mechanic that are sort of built in. So with the current meta that's out there, of course, like you've got Secret Defender showcasing there, but alternate teams are like Young Avenger comps, War Dog comps, Infinity Watch. There's a lot of teams that you can put out there that are very striker heavy, and you could potentially have 6 and 7 taps on defense, which would be a lot of fun or annoying. But moral of the story is put whatever you want; it'll be fine.
Yeah,
just make everybody striker.
Yes, exactly. Make 4 striker and your fastest character, maybe a skirmisher, or just make him a striker too, so the next person goes is also doing something for you. Jgiusti, what are you thinking about for stage one?
So your goal for stage one is to focus on pulling Masters of Evil. So maybe like a Secret Defenders with Noir, something like that.
You're thinking Noir. So I'm actually thinking about Big Time Spider-Man. The reason I'm going Big Time Spider-Man is because of him flipping those buffs. And I'm going to switch all my characters to Striker while we're having this conversation. So yeah, I am of the mindset that I like Big Time better because he's going to flip the buffs, put Disrupt out there. And if we make him a striker, then he's actually also going to put defense down when he does his assists. So if he does the defense down before all the other assists come in, boy, howdy, are those people going to feel that damage. What do you think about that, Jude? See, I understand where you're coming from when you're talking about Noir, because he's going to peel, say they go in there with new warriors, he's going to peel the dodges off a bunch of them, and then Hardlight can then rewind up to 3 people. And that would be a disaster, right? But that was happening before and didn't really change anything. You would still just be banking on that damage coming through to actually kill somebody. Because the rewind was already happening when you did Noir and Hardlight. Thoughts?
Yeah. The thought is that you're pulling MOE regardless, and at least you're hitting a second tune, because with Big Time, you're going to go straight into Sticky or Exorbitant Man. And you're going to kill the Sticky, and then you still have 4 characters that are going to go before the Hardlight. And with the offense up room, you're going to switch your MOE to just strikers and do the same exact thing and just wipe them out. So at least you get a chance of adding an extra bleed, which speeds up your Robbie, which is my thought for Noir. Because MOE is going to kill it if you're going to leave.
You think MOE would kill Secret Defenders with Big Time, getting that strip off, that speed up makes them go before Kamala does? Like, couldn't Big Time strip off the sticky, and then when Kamala goes, if she targets Kang, couldn't you get obliterated by all those assists? Especially if Big Time goes first and puts defense down out there.
Let me double check. I'm pretty sure Big Time only removes it from everybody but the primary target.
No, he only removes from the primary. He only removes buffs from the primary, unblockable and unavoidable.
Yeah, so you're gonna go and you're gonna hit sticky, and then the other four are still gonna go before Miss Marvel.
And they all go before Miss Marvel? Okay, that was what I was wondering. Okay, yeah, so that you'll probably end up killing somebody, and if you target Miss Marvel there, RIP Miss Marvel at that point. Does Miss Marvel have anything cool on her base?
Well, no, you're.
Go ahead.
Well, you make MOE all strikers, and if you make MOE all strikers, they're gonna do the same thing, except they hit harder than SD and Crucible.
Yes,
You're talking about every time they turn, they're gonna kill somebody.
Well, no, that's what I was asking. I was asking, do they go first? Because as long as you get the kills quickly, Kang's gonna go first. Is anyone? Oh, you know what? Big Time is giving speed up, and that will give the Kang extra speed bar to get him to go first for sure. Definitely a little bit of a speed bump there. Yeah, good call, good call. So Noir might pull ahead. I think it could go either way. So I guess then we could look at the rest of the stage and see if there's a way where we can peel the Masters of Evil elsewhere. Maybe some sort of interesting Skrull comp where we're going to want that. I don't want to overload stage 1 myself. Like, I don't want to do Secret Defender Skrull in here, because then we'll just have the same thing as last season where it's the, you do the burn and then you go from there. Daedalus, what are you thinking for stage 1, my guy?
I think I agree a lot with Jgiusti that like you're really trying to pull a MOE level threat here, but I think that like a Secret Defenders is probably over investing here. Period. I think Infinity Watch is going to need to pull a threat that large by itself because they're not going to kill him before Nebula gets to go, and then Nebula gets to go and do all of the same shenanigans you were talking about. Except then Gamora also goes very quickly and does the same thing.
That's interesting. The problem is then that they don't hit nearly as hard. They don't have as interesting attacks. I could see that being a way to catch people off that don't give it the proper respect.
Right. That's what I'm going for, right? I don't expect it to win. I'm expecting you to have to respect it.
Right. That makes sense. I can see that. That's an interesting idea. And then is there a different room for you then on the top of your head that Secret Defenders is then going to go in to pull the new warriors or to make them think about using Masters of Evil there?
So I was actually a real big fan of using Secret Defenders on offense last season.
Okay.
Amen.
So I think I'm gonna try and keep them there.
Interesting. That's very interesting. We got someone in chat, Brent, saying it should be War Dogs. Well, I mean that's a super quick clear from Masters of Evil, but that would obviously be bad usage there. Would it Death Seed? Death Seed, yeah. Yeah, and they would too.
Yeah, they're really fast.
All right, so 2 trains of thought seems to be what we have here. We're either going to put in a nice Secret Defender team and see if we can just catch people off. We're going to use some awful RNG, or just pull the Masters of Evil here to give our Skrull some breathing room, depending on where we put him and who we put him with, or slide in something like Infinity Watch there, or Young Avengers like Taco talked about, where you might catch somebody off guard. They may not respect it, and they get caught off guard by an opening attack that just obliterates somebody, turns it into a quick 4v5 in their favor, and then you fall apart. Very interesting, like where you guys' head's at.
I do want to make one quick note, because this is going to happen. Please, for the love of God, do not set Death Seed in this room. Or do if you're facing me, because I will walk all over it, and it will be fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so stage 2. Now that, guys, unfortunately, that was the most interesting room. So hopefully we'll be able to find a diamond in the rough for the rest of these stages. We got stage 2, temporal shielding on defense and offense, skill and tech characters. Yeah, so I said it right. I just said it backwards. When basic is used, they'll gain speed up, and when speed up at the end of turn, bury yourself for 20% of that character's maximum health. I, for the life of me, cannot think of a tech or skill team, New Avengers, that might actually benefit from this. And I don't know if ISO attacks are going to be considered on the basic here, gaining that speed up, because that'll be very interesting, right? As far as anything else goes, tech and skill characters are notably slow in this game, with the exception of Kang, obviously, and Black Cat, I suppose. But there are easy, like, eternal counters to them, or new warriors where those characters actually don't even get a turn. Taco, where's your head at for this temporal shielding? Do you think there is anything you could do in this room to make it relevant?
No. So I think that basically this entire Crucible season is about making is going to be about efficiency, in my opinion. And this is another room where I'm looking at Young Avengers and I'm looking at Infinity Watch and going, probably going to have one of those two teams in this room as well. There's a handful of skill and tech characters mixed through those two teams in particular that might find a benefit by accident. But at the end of the day, it's not inspiring. I'm just looking at having a whole bunch of offense and trying to just squash my opponent more efficiently than they can squash me.
Right on. So Time Lord Me72 in the chat is bringing up an interesting point. So Infestation and New Avengers both are fast with tech and skill characters, notably the big time in there. Do you think if the ISO attacks from the strikers, because those teams both have heavy strikers, do you think if the ISO attack is giving the speed up and thus the barrier afterwards, is that going to impact anything here as far as costing your opponent efficiency?
Well, I mean, so if you look at Big Time, you're not getting the ISO attack from Big Time on his first turn. He's going to ult and he's a striker, so he's not going to be able to utilize that. So when's that going to happen? I mean, they're just going to get rolled over, I think.
Yeah, it would be you would probably make Big Time back a Raider, and then you would have to have like your Ant-Man, your Yellow Jacket, your Swarm, make all them strikers, but Swarm is not skill or tech, so it doesn't really work out. Yeah, I have a hard time. And then obviously, Infestation is not what they are in War, though Black Widow giving the speed up does make them actually kind of sketchy in CC if they're big enough. Jgiusti, what are your thoughts on temporal shielding?
I just tossed Infinity Watch in here. I'm treating this like kind of like a blank room, and that's the best vanilla you want on defense anyway.
Yep, fair enough. So just like Deb was talking about earlier, just cost and efficiency, or sorry, Taco was talking about earlier, cost and efficiency. There is a skill character and a tech character in there with the Nebula. If Nebula, on her ISO or her assist, is getting speed up and then she's getting barrier, that could be very annoying. That might be a cool idea. We're going to have to see how the room plays out, so time will tell there. Daedalus, temporal shielding, what you got?
This one I think is mostly blank, right? So I think you're probably gonna end up with something like, if you end up with like, Secret Defender scroll being vanilla stuff, it'll be here. But very importantly, Black Widow gives speed up to a whole bunch of people.
Right.
60% of the time she gives speed up to everybody, and so you don't necessarily need the ISO stuff for her to do shenanigans stuff.
Yeah, to get all of her teammates that barrier when it's the end of their turn. Interesting
Right.
idea. Interesting idea.
So a 4-piece with her. So for example, I just talked about wanting to do Secret Defender, so I don't on offense. So I don't think I'm going to end up with this. But you could drop Strange and put Black Widow in there, and that should do some fun stuff.
That's a pretty cool idea. That's a lot of barrier, yeah. What do we think about Sinister Six? So obviously, there's going to be the Superior 6 team, but the Sinister 6 team, the OG team, without Doc Ock, I suppose, does have a lot of tech and no skill characters, all tech. Do you think there's going to be a world where that old school 5-piece with the new stats can do anything without those 2 Superior 6 members upgrading all of their kits?
Yeah.
Their stats are nothing to scoff at, but their kits are still old, and so it's when you just face them in war. There's a lot of ways to counter them, and so I don't know if they'll do a whole lot there in a very much more condensed version of team selection like we have here.
Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna find out, but Vulture
they might catch people off guard just because not knowing how to fight them.
Yeah,
not remembering how to fight them.
especially with Vulture giving that offense up. Does he need 2 superior 6 members to give offense up? Oh no, that's only on offense anyway. That's only it can't be on defense anyway. It's on offense. So even if he does, it doesn't matter. All right, that's it for stage 2. So what am I going to put in here? I'm just going to slap in my new Avengers here for now, and we'll leave it at that. Let me just find them here. We're definitely not leaving Bifrost Skrull in here. That is a Nightmare of the Past. Goodbye, stage 2. Maybe we should just have a moment of silence in celebration of the death of stage 2.
Fuck it. Sorry. You're gonna have to bleep that.
Wow.
Now,
wow.
That room sucks.
Now, something for chat is Pegasus is not a good defensive team because you can mirror it with Fury, and instead of Rescue, and it's over in about 3 turns.
There you go.
Your Kestrel will literally just delete their Kestrel and the next to him, and then it's 5v2.
Don't love that idea.
And it's over.
Don't love that idea at all. All right, stage 3. This is actually an interesting room. It's the first penalizing room when you do something, which means we can manipulate the enemy to use their ultimate at certain points or not use their ultimate at certain points, and we can be manipulated in the same way. So what does this room actually do? So our ultimate abilities cost 2 less, very similar to stage 6 in what was last season. But when you use an ultimate ability, you will spread all the negative effects you have on yourself to adjacent allies. Now, in my mind, there is a team that jumps out to me here, and that is the Black Order team. Because Thanos going so quickly, he doesn't actually open up with his ultimate. He's still going to open up with his basic, then his ultimate, because he's getting that 2 energy. So he's not actually going to flip, so that's kind of a hindrance. But Proxima will do her stun / turn meter rewind. Ebony Maw will do his turn meter rewind. And then I don't think we bring in Corvus or Cull. I think we probably do one of them so that Thanos is still getting at least 80 or 75% speed bar. But somebody gets subbed out for somebody else with an interesting ultimate, maybe somebody like Quicksilver. What are you guys thinking about stage 3? Let's switch it up. Let's start with you, Dead.
We have this guy, and he was released a little bit ago, who has probably the best ultimate in the entire game. Except he can't use it till turn 2, and his name is Dr. Von Doom. So I think everything you said is correct, except also just put him there.
Fair enough. I did have to face that in my last Crucible, and I sweat it for a second. The thing about Doom is just with his crep stats. It was against Purple Sticky, actually. I obliterated him, and I think he has to send me his daughter now. There was some sort of blood pact we made.
You want another kid?
I don't. It was actually a bad bet. I was hoping to lose. I just couldn't help but beat him. It was just too easy. We accidentally killed the Doom with bleeds from New Warriors. Like, he should have pushed, but he just died. So, what do you think about Doom's survivability?
I think if you're pulling New Warriors, like, New Warriors is MOE level, right? So if you're pulling New Warriors here, I think that's fine.
True. Jgiusti, what are you thinking about stage 3?
I'm running, so Black Order you can have Quicksilver, you can have Sus. I'm gonna, because since you have those double rewinds followed by a Sus going boom, that's not gonna be fun to deal with.
Yep.
Well, in the Black Order Doom, you can easily just mirror that with Mr. Negative. Your Doom, because when Thanos kills that bot, it rewinds them. Because that's what I use. I use Nova, Mr. Negative, Emma, Doom. I'm trying to remember who the 5th was. It was irrelevant. I think it was Quicksilver. But Quicksilver didn't take a turn. Doom just went ult and killed Sticky's team as well. So
nothing to write home about. His teams do just kind of die. But so the cool thing about that idea is Skrull getting 2 energy. He's actually going to ult turn 1 too. And he'll clear away some of the buffs, if I'm not mistaken, including defense up, for the Thanos to hit into with his ultimate. And Skrull will take his first turn before Thanos takes his second turn at the worst. Skrull, depending on who the enemy brings in. Like, if the enemy brings New Warriors into Skrull, Skrull is the first character to go, and he just immediately trucks everybody. So it's not a bad idea, leaning on Skrull in this room for sure. Skrull, Doom, kind of the usual suspects. You know, we got the Dorm idea too, always floating around. Taka, what are you thinking about stage 3?
Yeah, same as everyone else. You know, the idea of having Black Order in there or Darkhold in there, I'm leaning towards a Darkhold comp of some sort, whether it's Quicksilver or Sus or Doom or Dorm, whatever. There's a lot of options, but at the same time, there's also the similar counters. So aside from sneaking a sus in there, everything else we know the answer to.
Right, right. Yeah, sus is the what factor, right? So what do I slide in there? I think I like the idea of Black Order in there, but I'm not going to leave this. I'm probably going to take Corvus out at the very least, and I'm going to throw in... Doom makes it a little bit too easy, huh? Well, I might throw in a Mr. Negative of my own. Mr. Negative Ultimate is not to be trifled with either. So Mr. Negative Ultimate, turn 1. We do have a bunch of turn meter rewinds here. Cull, kind of useless, except he's giving armor. So you know what? Maybe we take Cull out instead of Corvus here. All right, who did I just throw in here? I threw in Mr. Negative.
Now, aren't you slowing down that Thanos precipitously?
You take out
you're leaving
anybody. You slow.
Oh, you're saying leave Corvus in. Oh.
Yeah, Corvus is going to give damage to the Thanos and the Proxima and the Ebony Maw, as well as do his own ultimate, which hits really hard. So Cull is not going to get a taunt off because Thanos actually doesn't do his special till turn 3 in this room, so it's kind of overplays.
Yeah, and he's going to start with his ult too, instead of his special.
Yeah, exactly. All right, moving on over to Stage 4 Spec Ops. Unsuccessful dodge. I don't even want to read this. This is the most nothing room, guys. This has to be. Successful dodge gains stealth. Characters with stealth gain 20% damage. What stealth characters besides, I guess, what? Black Widow? I'm trying to think. Black Widow, Tangled Web, I suppose. But if you put Tangled Web in here, you're going to get absolutely reamed out by a bunch of different teams. What are we doing here, Taco, for Spec Ops?
All right, so here's where I've got my Black Order, because I looked at Black Order. I'm like, well, Corvus turns stealth. Giving him a little extra damage won't hurt if he's built up enough. This room, I think most people are gonna treat this room like a nothing burger.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably your go-to. But I mean, you can drop in, you can drop in Black Order. You can drop in the Infestation potentially here as well. I mean, there's not a lot of reason for this room. It's pretty trash.
What about Bifrost? Loki can put everyone into stealth.
Yeah, please. Everybody put your Bifrost right here.
Yeah, exactly. Dead, what do you got for Spec Ops?
I hate this room.
It's nothing, right?
It's just nothing.
So what do you think?
I think, so it's actually interesting because I feel like if the next room didn't exist, this is like a slam dunk unlimited room.
Right.
But the next room
well,
exists. So.
Now, hold on. So for the people that ridiculously over-invested in Bifrost, 4 could still be annoying if you've got a just absolute topped-out, maxed-out Bifrost.
Yeah.
Could be annoying. I'm not saying it will, but could.
Eternals can flip Bifrost without that raid tag. So you do got to be careful there. So, Jgiusti, what are you about to say? Let me just interject my own thoughts here. I'm thinking Unlimited is going here, but you got to make sure Phantom X is here. Go ahead.
I like UL. There's 2 main teams that I think go here very well. That's Unlimited and Infinity Watch. Infinity Watch gets those opening evades. While stealth doesn't help them a ton, it just makes them more annoying, which iWatch is just known to be more annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Same with ULX. You're not gonna like change the rules, but you're definitely gonna add extra turns. Them going into stealth, out of stealth, doing extra damage in between. So I would put one of those 2 to take extra turns, extra damage.
Yeah, important to note, both of those teams also have Safeguard on spawn, so they're protected a little bit from that. And Nebula, she only gives 1 dodge, right? I believe? Yes. Because Philo takes it off. So, yeah, a little bit of what you want to weigh there. For me, I think Unlimited is going to be my go-to for this room, at least for now, until we see otherwise. Simply because they suck on offense. And so I need to put them somewhere, otherwise I'm going to cry myself to sleep on how much I invested in these guys.
So you're about to remember how much they sucked on defense too, though.
Yeah, I know. So that's your call, Jgiusti. You're thinking Infinity Watch is going in stage 4 for you?
I'll put ULX in there.
It'd be ULX? Okay. And any substitutes to the ULX team? Obviously, we're leaving Phantom X in there.
I don't think so. I think you like, especially the extra damage. Like if Sunfire somehow gets to take a turn and hit somebody in the face, right? Like,
yep, especially my Sunfire with that hot 1 diamond. Let's go, baby.
a marginal like 4% stat increase.
Yeah, but he's also gear tier 17, so you know it's a thing. All right, mutant immune system. So the disrespect we put on this stage before even getting to it by taking the only viable mutant team off. So on defense and offense, mutant characters on turn clear all negative effects from self, heal self for 10% of max health for each negative effect. But that's not all. All characters at the end of their turn gain defense down. So a little bit of a extra spice on there. Maybe we're going to be getting a new mutant raid team, and maybe they'll be the same sort of outside of raid good as Deathseed was. Maybe they come in here. I don't see this particular mutant part doing much to make me want to put unlimited here as opposed to unlimited in 4. But the all characters on turn end gain defense down. There's a little bit of an interesting idea there, where if we can throw in a very beefy slow team like Infinity Watch, the enemy is going to take all their turns and then they get defense down at the end of their turn. That could be kind of an interesting idea. Jgiusti, what are you thinking for stage 5?
I'm going to have Death Seed in here. The reason why is because someone's going to be dumb enough to try to mirror that, and it's not going to end well.
Right.
Same. Yeah, I'm on the same boat.
Yeah, that's right. It is going to clear everything like the Wakandans did. So that's going to crush that. So I guess the counter to that, for people watching this video, you could do an Eternals comp. You could easily do an Eternals comp. Rhino will be fantastic if you see that, if you built up your Rhino for the Sinister 6 at this point. Yeah, that's a very interesting idea. Death Seed, even with Kestrel, as Cap is saying, and so is PMJ. Very good ideas, guys. I like that. On turn, they clear all the negative effects. Yep. Enemy Archangel's going to one-shot somebody. That's for damn sure.
Yep.
So it sounds like Taco and Jgiusti are on the same page. What are you thinking, Dead?
I'm gonna be honest. I missed the defense down part.
Okay.
But I think Death Seed sounds great there.
I'm trying to think.
I also think I think Infinity Watch is a decent one here. Just because the common counters for, like, it's not often that you out-sustain, not necessarily out-sustain, but like blow up Infinity Watch super early, right? So they're gonna get to come around and hit you with defense down, and that's gonna hurt. If you're not using it somewhere earlier, like we already talked about, I think they're okay here.
Yeah, my head was going to Infinity Watch here because of the defense down, because characters like Phyla-Vell and Moondragon are slow, but when Moondragon goes, she turn to rewind somebody, put slow on them, that person presumably already took their turn, has defense down, is now rewound and susceptible to a Gamora one-shot. So interesting idea there. I was thinking Infinity Watch here, but Deathseed's got me thinking, because Jutsi's right. At the beginning of the season, people will be doing their absolute best to throw matches. Oh, we are not putting Apocalypse in there, though. I don't know if I'm going to go straight Deathseed or if I'm going to throw Kestrel in there. Both are interesting ideas, because depending on if someone tries to mirror it, because they're like, oh, my Magneto will go first because I have the 5 Deathseed members. He only has 4. Then my Magneto will go, hit his Magneto with defense down, and Kestrel will just kill somebody. Unless she obviously got the blind. I don't know. Interesting ideas there. I like where everyone says that. Yeah.
She clears
on her turn, but she doesn't clear before her ping.
Well, she gonna delete somebody.
She'll delete somebody. That is true. All right, rules of combat. The last room. This is where my Skrull is going, because there's villain callouts here. There's hero callouts here. The only question is, who is he's going with? And I have some ideas on that. I'm wondering what you guys are thinking. So let's read this out. Villain characters. On successful attack, they'll apply defense down to each target attacked. So Skrull is a villain. Remember that. He'll give quick defense downs. And then hero characters. On successful attack, apply offense down to each character's attacked. So I'm right now of the mindset that I'm throwing Skrull in here. And I'm not thinking Darkhold because I don't want to get beat by my own Hawkeye. I feel like that would be too demoralizing, and I wouldn't be able to stay in polite society from that point on. As far as other options go, I need to pair him with somebody that is super fast. I maybe didn't put enough thought into this one. This could be an interesting place to be using our Tangled Web with 2 villains on the sides. But I'd be interested to know what you guys are thinking. Taco, why don't you take us off with it?
Yeah, so this one is where I think you're on the right path. So a lot of people are going to be putting sus in here. And for me, I looked at this and I said, listen, I'm just keeping sus on offense. I'm going full offense. I'm just going to roll over people and try to have the best efficiency score. So I'm dropping Sinister Six in here. Doc Ock being in here, preventing the offense down for any heroes that come in, and just let that team wreck people. But from your same thought process, if you're talking about putting sus in here, dropping Doc Ock in there again eliminates the option of offense down on your team. So just make sure you got 2 Sinister Six people, and then like you're tangled for your 2 heroes to capitalize on what sus can be, and it's going to be a bit of a problem child maybe.
Yeah, the problem is you need some sort of speed mechanic to go with the rest of your characters, or Skrull or not, you'll easily get blown up by something like Masters of Evil here. But then I guess they don't use Masters of Evil in the other one. They have to risk the new
Well,
Wars.
your Vulture's going to go super fast. Your Vulture and your Sus are probably going to be the first 2 characters that take a turn.
No, that's true. They'll both be hitting to defense down, which is an interesting concept. Jgiusti, what are you thinking while I mull this over?
So this is just a kind of a warning about with Apox Red Star in the game and Eternals getting diamonds, whereas Sus did not get any new stats. If you bring something that's too slow with Sus, like let's say a Gamma or an iWatch with Sus, what's going to happen is you're going to put Apoc Eternals, Red Guardian, and they will just kill them. So you have to have a team that will not die to that, because with a 7 red APOC will one-shot a sus now with his ult or his little empowered punch.
That is true.
Reliably. So so if it can't stop that, that's not a place you want to put sus.
Which brings me to my point.
Yeah.
If you're going to set Secret Defenders on defense, Secret Defenders sus is the place to do it here.
Yeah.
So
sus is going to go and he's going to put defense down on 40 or 60% of the team. Then Hardlight's going to go.
Up to. It could be 40% if it's a corner unit.
It could be. Yep. Then Hardlight's going to go and hit into that, and then Black Cat's going to go. It's like fighting arena, except you don't get to bring your whole team.
So that's going to lead to an interesting conversation about other things that have happened in this coming season. So let me just really quickly think of what I want to do here. If I do throw in my Tangled Web, we have a good shot, but then I lose Tangled Web for enemy Darkholds. I'm going to need to mull this one over more myself. The Skrull Secret Defenders will get you an instant win, but we have to have a conversation about probably the best thing that happened this season, not the global rooms, the exhaust that is now in Cosmic Crucible. So after each completed attack, gain a stack of exhaust. Presumably, exhaust is still 20%. Not presumably. It is 20%, just like it is in War. You cannot cancel, though. You only get 3 attacks. Do not cancel if you lose the first one. Get that 20% exhaust, unless it's like a very, very specific counter and you know you're going to win the next one. But make sure you get the full clears. Them putting exhaust in Cosmic Crucible, to me, says that we will be getting win your Cosmic Crucibles, and you better start leaning to exhaust if that's what you need to do. Taco, how do you feel about exhaust making its way into Cosmic Crucible?
Oh, I'm planning on one-shot and everything, so I don't really care at the moment.
What about people that have to do giant, enormous punch-ups into our giant, enormous rosters, and they don't get to complete events? How do you feel about it for them?
Well, I think that's an event problem. That's a Scopely problem. Like just because the events are broken doesn't mean that the game mode itself is broken. The game mode itself is a little lighter than what it should be. I mean, we asked for the rooms to not be what we're currently dealing with passives being like 17 paragraphs long. But the idea of wanting shorter room descriptions was sort of based on the assumption that we would actually have options to choose from, not necessarily the just one option for every room that we've been having. So when we made that suggestion, not saying that that's what got us this, but we asked for shorter room descriptions, but we asked for more options to choose from. And we got half, but unfortunately the half that doesn't pair well without the other half.
Right. Jgiusti, how you feeling about exhaust and just overall your impressions of the current room rules?
So I think exhaust is a needed mechanic. When we do get these moments of new teams that are overpowered, keeping the game from being unfun, we find a good counter, right? Because Superior 6 plus Sus is going to be a really annoying team to deal with. Until we figure out a good counter. And until we figure out the counter, which may take us 1, 2, 3 weeks, it is going to be a miserable experience without exhaust. That helps make that bearable, because then you can just sack it a couple times and their team loses 40% of their skills and all their skills are burnt out, and now you can come in there with your MOE and APOC and probably still beat it, almost guaranteed, and so at least you get that clear, you get those credits. You may have lost the CC, but you don't
lose that on
leave
resources.
with a goose egg of
Yeah, exactly. All right, Dead Mr. War Captain, what do you think about exhaust entering the Cosmic Crucible scene?
I think first off, I think it is kind of what Jgiusti alluded to. It is a mechanic that only matters really if you're already losing, right? And so in that sense, I think it's good, because what it does is it's almost like a consolation prize. Like, hey, sorry you lost, but also you're not screwed on the event. Which, as Taco said, they could just not design the events that way, but this is the world that they chose to make, right? It's important to note that in war, you can get like up to 4 stacks, I think, of exhausted. You can only get 2 here. So it is only a 40% reduction in stats. That's not as game-breaking as you want it to be.
I'd push back a lot, but okay, carry on.
I mean, there have been plenty of times where we have to like 4 or 5 tap a team in war.
How many of those times were quitting and restarting though?
Oh no, I mean like with exhausted.
Oh Jesus Christ!
So my argument is.
War was rough. I'm saying it's. I think like it's good. I just don't think it's not like you're gonna throw 2 teams at it and then walk all over it.
So here's my counter argument, and I love the exhaust feature. So my counter argument is last season, Skrull Secret Defenders was the sack this room, and then go in after the cooldowns are burnt. Well, now you're gonna sack it, and it's actually easier to hit. So the RNG or just the user error that could have happened in your second hit has been extremely lessened because of exhaust. So making super teams in Crucible is no longer as enticing as it was, because if you are always going to get a sack with Secret Defender Skrull anyway, then why would you put them together? Because now it gets the exhaust and it's easier to clean it up. So I do see a little bit of a problem there, but because the way they design events, I do think it's necessary. So it's very interesting. Let's end this video by talking about the global room and what is to come. Of course, we've all been kind of hinting towards it with some of our suggestions. Superior 6 is coming this patch. We should be getting Green Goblin in like, 2 or 3 weeks tops. So as far as their global buffs go, the Sinister 6, so the older members plus the newer members, they all have the Sinister 6 tag. They're going to gain 200% focus and 15% max barrier. The Superior 6 characters specifically are going to bury yourself 15% of max health on successful attack and remove revive once from each target that is attacked. So RIP Dormammu, RIP Ultron, I don't know. And on spawn, they'll gain defense up. They actually don't gain defense up unless you have the empowered or awakened Green Goblin passive, oddly enough, which I guess that's going to be something that, you're going to need to crack it out for the next season. What do you guys think the impact of Superior 6 is going to be? And what room, too, do you have eyeballing for them? Taco, why don't you hit us with your Superior 6 impressions?
Well, I mean, I'm not a big fan of putting my new toys on the bench. So I'll be looking to utilize them offensively in some way, shape, or form. And who knows? I don't know what that's gonna involve going to defense, but there's a whole lot of Sinister Six members now. So we've got 2 full teams worth of Sinister Six once this is all said and done. So I imagine one will be on defense, one will be on offense, and then just sort of mix them up here and there. And it's this sort of a boring season. I mean, we got new rooms, which we asked for. We don't have to deal with Bifrost, which we asked for. But it's a little bit boring. I want to be excited. I mean, how much I love Crucible. But I'm just not super excited about this season of Cosmic Crucible.
Yeah, it's definitely very generic.
I'm excited about the rewards.
Yeah.
Big improvement there.
Oh, yeah, we need to talk about that.
The rewards? Yeah, that's not a bad idea. You know what I was just thinking? I had an interesting opponent put something on defense against me last season. And you guys were talking about how the Eternals Apocalypse team could become a nightmare. What if we start throwing... I can't even find him. Because I'm on Hero. What about Dormammu in Stage 6 with Super Skrull? What do we feel about that? Or am I just stretching?
So here's a fun little tidbit. Keep Doc Ock to plug in to just neutralize Dormammu in most rooms. Because he'll just pop the revive off of all the team. Like Black Cat would because of the room rules.
Is it on successful attack?
I just thought.
Yep.
So he has to actually hit them. It's only on his second turn. He'll remove all the revive ones.
Or if you're really worried about it, you just basic.
Yeah, but you only taking 1 off.
That's true.
All right, interesting.
That is particularly good because that means really don't put something like that in 2.
Yes.
Because he will ult there. Or, sorry, not 2, 3.
3, yeah, crafting power. Interesting. Okay. All right, let's actually... So now we'll actually end it by looking at the rewards, not the store. Silly goose.
I just want to make a note. It's kind of a weird season. So, remember, we have 4 characters that need to come out for Superior 6 to be a team.
Right.
That's more than a month away.
Yeah.
So my argument would be that we're going to have an evolution of Superior Sinister 6 hybrids throughout the season, which is going to make it really fun.
Sure. But what I mean is, when people are talking it's the Superior 6 team, we're going to be a month and a half into the season before that's a thing.
Right.
And so temper your expectations on how much that effect will have.
Fair enough. Okay, let's look at the rewards we got going on here. So the actual trial itself rewards, that is weekly rewards. If you're in Grandmasters, you're going to be getting 5 of those diamond orbs. If we are in Masters 3 and we win, we're going to be getting 8K, then 7.5, and then 7,000. That's only for the first place rewards in each. I wonder if the diamonds are dropped. I wouldn't expect them to be.
So diamonds, I'm just looking at ours right now. In Masters 3, it goes from 8,000 for 1 through 4 to 7,500 through 5 through 8.
Okay, so being in Masters 3 will always net you at least the maximum of Masters 2. That's a good call. That's a good call.
I expect that pattern to be the same, right? Where the back half of a bracket, it's 500 less.
Right. So when do diamonds drop off? I guess the big question. Drops off at diamond? Yikes.
Yeah.
Big yikes. Oh, big yikes. Taco, talk to me, baby. What do we feel about it dropping off a diamond?
Yeah, that's super unfortunate.
I'm gonna.
Is that it? Is
The
that it? Like, what?
No, sorry, I coughed, so I had to mute myself real quick.
Okay.
It's super unfortunate because at the end of the day, like there's a lot of people that don't like Cosmic Crucible, and this is effectively the only place to get diamonds if satellite's not running, at least that we're aware of. And we don't know how often we're going to be getting satellite. I'm assuming it's going to be like towers, so we'll get it twice a year at best. I just don't have faith that Scopely's going to give us a reasonable game mode that we all enjoy on a regular cadence, because they hate us. So that being said, the diamonds not being lower into platinum, I think they should be in platinum, and I think they should be in gold, even if it's just one orb. Like, why not? Why not? Like, this game, it's a hero collector game. There's a lot of different game modes and different strokes for different folks. Like, don't punish people just because they don't want to do it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Especially that it's the new, right? Ooh,
Yep.
this is gonna lead
I
to a
agree
lot of piloting, by the way. A lot of piloting
Yeah,
at the higher end to get these better diamond orbs.
I agree with everything Taco said, with one caveat. I think that if you look at the level of character build that I think happens, except for the people that like just really don't like Crucible, right? And they just write it off. But the people that are like trying in Crucible but can't make it past Platinum, those look at it's 2.5 red star or Elite 7s. That is probably actually more useful for their rosters than a Diamond Orb.
Well, so but I guess the issue is the Elite Sevens are pointless. Like they're giving this shit away like candy, to everybody. Have been for a while. And
But you still need to get there, right? And so if
Yeah.
you're a
Now-
mid-level player,
yeah, for a mid-level player that's trying super hard, I get it. But
Yeah,
for the players that don't want to do this,
they have to, and that is
They
not
have to.
good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that point. Like
Okay,
mostly.
now-
Go ahead, Juicy.
What? So I think I was gonna say you also have to think that gold. So what is that? That's people around the level 80, 85 range. That is not
That's
your
what
level
it's
95
designed to be.
players. Yeah. So very few people that are in gold that are gonna be end game players, and I think if they're gonna do E7s, they should be more generous because again, they're kind of useless for us. But that'd be super impactful as they're building up their roster.
Yes.
Right.
So
I
this
do
could have been
think,
good.
though, but I mean, like 2.5 Elite 7 orbs a week for being in Plat 3 was that it? I think that's like pretty. That's a lot, right? Like that is. It's not going to take you long to quote finish Elite to finish Red Stars doing that, right?
Now plat should have diamonds. Gold is okay. I think that they should shift that down. Gold and silver should have the E7s. I think platinum,
I
because
think-
platinum you have end game players in.
Yeah, I think I probably because they wanted to throw the 7s in there. I think the 7s are appropriate because in Plat you have like a weird mix of lower level tryhards and
Yeah.
higher level casuals, right?
Yeah,
And
no,
I don't
I
think that's
definitely
encouraging.
agree. I don't think we should remove the Elite Sevens, but why can't they just with those
Oh, there should
platinum, every level of platinum, just add one stupid diamond orb?
Yeah, they're gonna get a 1 diamond guy on a guy they probably don't have at 7/7 anyway. It's free for a scope
Yeah.
if they just want to.
So,
But again, I stand by. They hate the community, so that's that.
well, speaking of that, I don't think we're gonna get Satellite Tower twice a year. I think we'll get it 3 times a year, once every 4 months. And I do also think they hate us, but I think the real reason is because they don't want to have to make new floors. And if they just throw the same tower at us, we're gonna complain, and they're gonna be like, "Fuck, they're complaining again." So. As far as the rewards go, that's interesting. Is there season rewards for this thing?
Yeah,
Oh,
the dark diamond rewards. You get 10,000 if you're in the top 200, which will And now FYI, for whatever reason, Ultron is less expensive than Ultimus. However, Doom is 3,000 for one Dark Diamond. So I'm guessing that the majority of them are 3,000. So you can effectively get 3 meta characters up to 1 diamond per season through these rewards.
This is I didn't realize it paid. I didn't looked at it. I didn't realize it paid out Dark Diamond all the way down. So at the end of the season, right? So 3 months from now, which is a different discussion, right?
Yeah.
Everybody in the game gets a 1 diamond Doom.
Well, but don't, right?
No,
you can,
right,
but don't.
Don't, could, right? Like, I think that's pretty generous. Like, the fact that it pays that out to 100% of people.
It depends on the other sources.
It would be generous if it was more than once every 3 months.
Yeah, so it depends. It depends on the other sources for these Dark Diamond credits, if there's going to be any, right? If this is the only source,
or money, Dorky,
dollars.
It's money.
Yeah.
Well, so it is funny because we say that, and I see a lot of people complain about this. There's no offers for them. You can't spend money
yet.
Yet.
Yeah.
Oh, they're coming.
They will definitely come, but it's just funny.
They're coming, and they're going to be absurd.
It reminds me of when Disney didn't make Grogu toys.
I would say these orbs, the dark diamond orbs, guessing, are going to be at least $10 an orb for offers, maybe more. Might push 20, but it's going to be at least $10 an orb. They're going to be absurd pricing, absurd.
Yeah, because this is going to be for APOC, right? Before Super Strong gets in there, people are going to want it for their APOC like crazy. Interesting. So much going on. Lots of hype behind Crucible Season 5. Let's get a hype check. Taka, what's your hype check right now for Season 5? Given the rewards, given the rooms, given raid room gone, what's your hype check?
The rewards I'm actually really happy with. Everything else is pretty trash.
Fair enough. Hey, speaking of your particular issues with it, I can't believe they're not recycling some of the old glory rooms. Like, skill character gives adjacent ally energy. Yo, we have this cool character in the game right now called Black Cat, and she's super fast, so that we can do a lot of interesting stuff with that room. Or
Dorky. Did you not hear me when I said that Scopely hates us?
Yeah, it's so lazy. Get Taco and some other content creators, maybe myself, get us in there. Let us design some rooms for you. Ship them off to you. You can check the balance on them and do something with it. Check with the players. Check with somebody. Get somebody who gives a shit about making some creative stuff going on in these rooms. Jgiusti,
please, that's someone that cares.
Yeah. Jgiusti, what's your hype check for Season 5?
So I generally like seasons like this because it gives me an advantage. When there's not a lot of defense, then your TCP matters. When you have more offensive rooms, you can go 6 for 6 out of punching up on opponents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it makes it more fun, right? You don't get. I think overall this is a good. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be fast. It's going to be enjoyable. Again, like always, these seasons are going to go on too long. They need to cut the seasons in like half because 4 weeks in, it's going to get really, but pretty much the same thing. Especially once we get the S6 down, counter down, it's going to be the same thing over and over again for the last 3 or 4 weeks of Crucible.
So what I'll say to that is we already went over this. They don't have the bandwidth, and I'll use his word, they don't have the bandwidth to make 6 rooms every month and a half. They don't have the bandwidth to do that. They don't have the bandwidth to make 40 new floors in tower every 2 months or something like that. It's just not, it's not in their wheelhouse to do that. So we're never going to get Crucible seasons that are that low. And with them working on other stuff in the background that we've had a couple sneak peeks at, there's a lot of cool stuff coming right now, and I don't know if we want them to just, we don't want them to go into maintenance mode and just kind of be flexing every single resource they have into Crucible. I don't think, anyway. Time will tell on that one. Daedalus, what do you got for Season 5 hype check?
I think the diamond problems aside, I think the rewards are pretty hype. This season was pretty boring once all of us got Quicksilver up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of I like to see the new reward system in there. I think the rooms are fantastic because they're not the raid room, and we don't have to deal with Bifrost anymore.
Death to Bifrost, except in the next raid. Please make them usable in the next raid.
Yeah, but I think the biggest thing is I don't think I think Taco's view that the rooms are terrible is not overhyped, but like it's too much overblown because they're not terrible. They're just nothing.
Yeah.
Right. Like the raid room was bad. These ones are not bad. They're just not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. These rooms aren't bad. They're just boring.
Yeah.
So there is this middle ground that I took. It just doesn't feel like it's too hard to hit that middle ground. I could probably rattle off 3 room ideas in an hour if I sat down with a pen and paper and could do some interesting things looking at the current meta characters. It wouldn't be very difficult. Do something with bleeds, and then all of a sudden, you know, Tigra and the new Avengers look super cool. Do something with just debuffs, give speed bar, and all of a sudden Big Time looks like a goddamn hero because he goes so fast and he pushes out. Like, you could do stuff like that. It wouldn't be very difficult.
Yeah.
All right. No, now we're actually going to end the video with sharing our best diamond pull from the Sword Satellite, being that diamonds are the big reward here. What was your biggest reward in the diamond orbs, Taco?
So far my top reward was a 2 diamond Ronin, the new Ronin.
Oh, Ronin, nice. Okay, the new one.
Yeah, so
Ronin,
I didn't. Well, yeah, whatever. So I was super happy about that, and also before we go, I want to make sure that everybody knows best thing going with Marvel Strike Force. Every Saturday night we do Goose Goose Duck. And it's comedy for days. You can play Marvel Strike Force and listen to a damn good time.
There you go. Jgiusti, your best diamond pull.
3 Sylvie.
That would have been great last season. Yeah.
Rip.
And what about you, Dad?
I peaked really early, and I pulled a 2 red Robbie on my first orb, and I have gotten dick all since.
Nice. I got 2 diamond on Coulson and 1 diamond on Mockingbird. I got 2 diamond on Beta Ray build too, actually. But then I got trash after that. And I just won't have Mockingbird, that diamond, unlocked for a long time. All right, guys. This is now an hour long. There was definitely no timestamps thrown in because there's no way I'm going through this video at 11:35. So thank you so much for coming and listening to us lunatics rant for an hour. I hope you have great luck in your Crucible. And from me, Taco, Jgiusti, and Daedalus. All right, guys, so after that talk I just had with them, I know the video continues. After the talk I just had with them, I ended up switching, like, everything around. And basically because it became very apparent that nothing with Skrull would hold this season the way it did last season, except for Secret Defenders. So I am sliding Skrull with Secret Defenders in Stage 1 to try and get that 1 guaranteed win unless somebody is mirroring it with their Super Skrull. And that's just so that I get the guaranteed 1 win. After that, I do have the old school Sinister 6 in Stage 2 now because they're tech. I dropped the Dark Cold Quicksilver in 3 because Corrupting Power is going to make Heartless and Quicksilver ult turn 1, which I thought was a pretty cool idea. Unlimited stayed where they are. Death Seed stay where they are. And then I slid in the new Avengers into Stage 6 for no reason whatsoever, except that I wanted to keep them on defense. Hopefully they get bigger, and hopefully we get to have a lot of fun with them. All right, so this is the final teams that I'll be using. So all of my enemies, check this out, study it up, come kick my butt, bring it on. Let's earn these diamond orbs, guys. That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.